Good morning, everybody. We're in Agios Nikolaos, Crete, and today we're going to go up and explore the Lasithi Plateau and see what we can find in Crete, maybe visit town a little bit. So stay tuned, see what we find.
Well, for all the included tours that we saw on our itinerary on this trip, this is the one that I kind of had the most, let's say, reservations about. Yeah, but we were in the bus, we were ready to go, and off we went to explore Crete on a several-hour bus ride out to the Lasithi Plateau. And the landscape of Crete is absolutely stunning. So we're whizzing by here, the Monastery of St. George. Great place, said our guide. Didn't stop. And then headed towards the sea on the north coast through the Selinari Canyon. Beautiful cliffs and just striking vistas. Didn't stop there either. We veered off the road at the town of Mali, a wonderful resort town with a Minoan palace, or at least the remains of Minoan palace that we didn't stop at, and started to climb up into the hills towards the Lasithi Plateau. We were treated to some wonderful ocean views as we continued to climb up the hill before we came across an olive grove where the workers were harvesting the olives using the old-style method with a rake with these slightly electronic fingers that knock the olives to the ground into the nets. Yeah, just as some of the passengers were getting a little bit queasy from the switchback roads, we arrived at the small monastery of Panagia Kera, and we received a quick tutorial on olives from our tour guide.
Here it is called the Koroneiki, and you see both the tree and the fruit are small. At first they are green, but when they turn like this, they are ripe enough and they can get harvested.
This small monastery once housed an icon created by San Lazzaro in the 9th century that depicted the Virgin Mary carrying Jesus. The icon was stolen or went missing several times. Once it was in Constantinople, but it always ended up coming back to this site before finally being relocated to the chapel of San Lazzaro in Rome. The inside of the chapel is decorated with wonderful 14th century frescoes, but due to respect for the wishes of the monastery, we didn't take any pictures inside. 6 nuns continue to call the monastery home. About 5 minutes past the monastery, we peeked over the hills headed towards the Lasithi Plateau to the windmills of Lasithi. Now, these windmills haven't been in use for probably over 50 years or so, and have been repaired many times from the high winds, but they make for a great photo opportunity, and it's a spectacular view all the way down to the sea on good days and when the clouds are parted a little bit. But it is windy, be warned, and the rocks are not for the weary to walk across to get the good views. The plateau itself is known as an endorheic plateau, so all of the snow melt and rainwater that falls ends up inside the plateau with no escape to the sea. So it makes for sometimes swampy but very rich farming. Next up, a little snack at Taverna Caritas. Now, it wasn't much, and we were encouraged to stop at the supermarket across the street for other goods if we were still hungry, but it was atmospheric, and Donna found a jeweler with some nice olive wood earrings. So after about a 45-minute stop, we were back on the road, headed back towards Agios Nikolaos, and again, winding our way down past goats, sheep, all kinds of mountains, and just those wonderful views of the sea.
There's a whole bunch of sheep.
This is beautiful and rugged country, and for anyone who's interested in learning more about the spirit of the people, particularly those who fought to resist the German occupation during World War II. I'd say pick up a copy of The Cretan Runner by George Sukandakis, a Cretan runner himself, published originally in 1955. So maybe we didn't choose so wisely in selecting this excursion with all of the bus time and very few stops. Then again, a lot of the touristy spots in Crete were closed this time of year, so we couldn't go visit the cave where Zeus was born, or some of the more interesting touristy sites that might be available. Overall, we got a good flavor of the landscape, enough to whet our appetite for a return trip to Crete, where we spend a little bit more time with boots on the ground. Anyhow, we're headed back to the Silver Spirit. We're going to grab a little lunch, and then I'm going to go explore the town. Let's start our exploration of Agios Nikolaos by visiting the lake. We are here. We can go check out the lake, and there's supposed to be a couple of really old houses, 2,500 years or so. So on the way to the lake, run across our dinner partners for tonight, and they tell me that there's actually a trail up and around the lake. So that becomes my new goal, is to get a little bit of exercise, do a little bit more hill climbing today, since we had a lot of bus time. Legend has it that the lake is bottomless. Well, in fact, it's 190 feet deep, some 60 plus meters deep. So, in all practical terms, for the small fishing vessels and for folks using a lot of fishing line, it's bottomless.
Get the view of town from here. Chapel. The ducks, the cats, and the pigeons all here to get fed this afternoon. Well, that was our walk around the lake. It's pretty nice, wasn't it? Exercise.
So we found the ancient houses, and it's 2,200 years old, but this was the ancient city of Camara, which was a Roman city, of all things. So back along the waterfront, there were a bunch of little fish, and where there's little fish, there's a predator. Now, we've looked all over. I have no idea what this fish is. So if you're watching this video and you identify this beautiful fish, put in the comments what it is. Continuing to explore the waterfront, we come across Europa. Now, the story is that Europa was a Phoenician princess, and Zeus had a bit of a thing for her. So he became a bull. And when Europa approached him and got on his back, he swam her all the way to Crete, and thus she became the first queen of Crete. Europa was also the mother of King Minos.
So they say the beaches of Europe are crowded. Well, this one's not. Look at that view of the mountain. Another little beach. And the feet in the ocean.
With the afternoon getting late, I scrambled up one more hill for a great view of the sea and the mountains in the distance. Passed by the monuments on the way back to the ship to get to pre-dinner drinks, this time with Brittany on the piano. Dinner tonight was with friends, so we put the cameras away, but we finished the night with tunes from James Bond. Join us tomorrow as we hit the island of Rhodes. Good night, everybody.